Oh, what's up, party people? Welcome to That Game Rules, my subpar retro podcast, where every Tuesday we break down an old retro game and all the pop culture that surrounds it. Real quick, right at the beginning there, that music, does that drum roll at the beginning make anyone else think of the beginning of Rugrats, the cartoon? Just had to get that off my chest. I'm your host, Scuba Steve. Thanks for stopping by. And today we're talking about Mario Party for the N64. It's like Mario and friends in like a Squid Game situation. So we're going to turn those joysticks to dust today. As always, we're gonna start the show here, going over the game. We're gonna go back in time. We're gonna talk movies, shows, toys, a whole bunch of fun stuff. We'll get into the game. We'll go over the vitals, the box art, lots of levels here, lots of sweet music. I'm gonna check out some really good comments and reviews I pulled off of this game. And finally, at the end, we're going to give it some dumb awards. We'll go over some updates. We'll slap our ranking on this thing, and we're going to call it a day. Send me some messages, and let's chat games at thatgamerules@gmail.com or hit me up on the website, thatgamerules.com. If you go there, you can get some super secret intel.
It's a secret.
Shut up.
I'll tell you upcoming shows and stuff if you guys want to send in your own awards or comments as well. We'll get into all that and the rest of the internet stuff. Follow me on Facebook somewhere, etc. Again, if you guys want to throw me some good ratings or reviews, I'd appreciate that. I don't know what they do, but everybody else asks for them. So what have I been doing? What have I been up to before we get into the game? I'm going to give some shout outs to some of my old friends, even though they don't listen to the show. I played this game in like teenage years. But if you're just hopping in the show for the first time, I'm Scuba Steve. I'm just a 40-year-old something, dad, husband, just another guy. I live in Michigan. I work 50 hours a week at a job I hate, so I'm probably just like a lot of you guys. Also, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a very tech person, but we're going to keep this podcast going. This is it. This is episode 10. We're in double digits now, so we're just going to keep rocking these things out on my way to triple digits, because I'm going to get there. You'll see. I just have a lot of passion for gaming. I want to share it with the world, so you guys are just going to have to put up with it. All right, here we go on these shout-outs. Are you ready? We're shouting out AJ, Jenny, Other Jenny, Becky, Jamie, Jabo, Tony, Lauren, JT, Eric, and my sister Kelly. That was my group of friends back then. And what a 90s group of names that is right there. There's no Skylers or Tanners in that group. We had some pretty basic 80s and 90s names back then. Back then playing this, I was probably 14, 15. I mean, we kept playing these as we went. And there was just a lot of good times back then playing just the 64, being a teenager in the 64 era with the 4 ports and just all the killer multiplayer games that came out for the 64. And, even back then we may have been maybe indulging in a little bit of the devil's lettuce, which made these games even more insane for us back then. But other than that, some other memories, we were just hanging out, playing these games. You'd race in to whoever's house we were into to try and get the controller with the tightest joystick, because this game, those things would just kind of rattle in the controller after a while to be real loose. But some of us had our own controllers and stuff. I used to rock that green controller a lot back in the day. Another thing, we do some hardcore, like 50-turn matches, go into like 3, 4 in the morning and just keep playing this game over and over. So definitely lots of great memories about Mario Party. A lot of the other 64 games. Just shout out to things like Smash Brothers, the wrestling games. We had Mario Kart. God, what is there? Conker's Bad Fur Day had a pretty sweet multiplayer. I'll rattle off a couple more later if I can think of it. But intro's out of the way. This is pretty beefy. It's just for a virtual board game. I've got a lot to say about Mario Party. So we're going to hop on back into a time warp. We're going to see where this takes us, and let's get into it.
Have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Oh, yes, we got a bit of a late one here. 1999. Was everybody freaking out about Y2K back then, or what? It's also, with this time of year, as we're at right now, I think this episode will drop in August, so we're starting up some school shopping. So I'd like to thank my sponsor this week because they're helping me out with my school shopping. And the sponsor this week for this time warp is Trapper Keepers. If you guys, it kind of sucks nowadays. Kids don't even take like anything to school. I know my kids, if they have stuff, it's just in their locker, and it's a lot of digital. They got tablets and laptops and all sorts of stuff nowadays. But if you remember those first day of school back then, you wanted to have that sweet brand new outfit, rocking some brand new clean shoes, and of course showing off those sweet, sweet Trapper Keepers. They had like the crazy, it was like right at the peak of kind of CG starting to come around. So they had a lot of graphical designs on these things. There was just like black space and like grid lines and like spheres with like dripping liquid or cones, like fluorescent teal and zebra stripes and purple and blue and just crazy colors. It reminds me of like the Treehouse episode of The Simpsons where they went 3D and Bart and Homer are kind of like in that grid world and there's just weird shapes. I mean, that's kind of like the cover of Trapper Keepers, kind of mainly. But besides your like IP Trapper Keeper stuff, or you're like, maybe you had a nice one that had like a cool picture of Dawson's Creek on it or something. So you'd have these, but then the real big thing back then for like girl Trapper Keepers is an artist. If you're out there and you remember, or guys, you'll know what I'm talking about. Lisa Frank. Any of those designs, look them up. They're like the craziest pink, purple, just colors. Your eyes can't even focus on these things. It's all cats and dolphins and unicorns and hearts and cheetahs for some reason. So a lot of that art going around back then. By the way, because I couldn't remember her name when I was thinking of this art, it's Lisa Frank. My Google popped up Lisa Ann. It is not Lisa Ann. That is a different person. Caution if you want to Google who that is. But if you were like me, rocking a new Trapper Keeper, then you might have had like the first day of school at the bus stop might have sounded a little something like this.
Check out my new Trapper Keeper. It has 5 different compartments for each subject in school, and it's all covered with pictures from Dawson's Creek. Cool.
Hey dudes, check out my sweet Dawson's Creek Trapper Keeper Ultra Keeper for 2 or 2,000. Yeah, well, it's got 10 different compartments for every subject in school, an electronic pencil sharpener, 4 plastic bags with electronic zippers, copy machine fax, a better picture of Dawson's Creek on the back than Kyle's, flat screen TV, and of course, OnStar.
So, as long as you had a better picture of Dawson's Creek on your Trapper Keeper than Kyle, you were going to be good to go. Maybe you were rocking some sweet like Jinkos back then with your Airwalks. Maybe you were rocking a wallet chain, sporting your No Fear hoodie. Side note, I think Champion, that gear is like super popular nowadays, but that was like the cheap Kmart stuff back then. So man, times change. But shout out to Trapper Keepers. We may never see your like again, Trapper Keepers. Let's move into it. 1999, I got some sweet movies. I'm going to shout out Phantom Menace. I've got it lined up, a bonus episode on some Star Wars rankings. And so I'm shouting that out, and just how much I love how much the prequels have come around, or at least how much love the prequels are getting, how much love Hayden Christensen's getting. And it's just, you find these 20, 30-year-olds now, and that's their Star Wars, and they have just as much love for that. And we can make fun of all the, they're not Academy Award-winning perfect movies. There's dumb stuff in every movie I like to watch and make fun of. Doesn't mean I don't love them to death. Particularly that day for Phantom Menace, it was weird. I was at high school, and we had kind of a random bomb threat, and this is still kind of things at schools being issues. But, so half the schools just heard that word and we all just left. It wasn't credible at all. But so me and my buddy took off, I don't know, 9:30 in the morning, went and caught some 10:30 showing of Phantom Menace. That's cool. It's not very packed theater at 10:30 in the morning. More movies that year. We got The Mummy. I'll probably keep shouting that out. I love Brendan Fraser. I love all the Mummy movies, and the remake sucked. Moving on, Wild Wild West. That's another stupid movie I love. I love so many dumb movies. The giant electrical spider, and I mean, just kind of dumb steampunk type stuff in that movie. But you know, Will Smith was in his prime back there before he was, you know, smacking people for talking about his wife. Also that year, a big one for me is Big Daddy. And if you know what I'm talking about, that's where I got my nickname. My name is Steve, and gosh, 25 plus years ago, my boss in the restaurant called me Scuba Steve, and it has stuck ever since. Even new places I go to work, it just kind of turns into that. It was even back at like the restaurant, my mom would call to like talk to me, because this is pre-cell phone. And she'd call the restaurant, and everybody there would just be like, there's no Steve that works here. And then so she'd have to ask for Scuba. So yes, it's where I got my namesake. And yes, I can wipe my own ass. So moving on to TV shows. What a banger, man. This is a weird one that's like because I have shows that I liked when I was a kid. I have shows that my kids have watched that I just kind of know about because they were going on in my life. This is one that came out for kids and then grew onto me as the show got older and as I was already an adult, and that's our boy SpongeBob. It's a good show. He's got some good games. And other than that, just I'm sure you guys have heard of him. He's still cranking out movies and all sorts of stuff. We had small shout out to Sonic Underground. There's just a lot of Sonic cartoons, just really just expanding on all his lore and story. And, they're going to, I assume, bring in some of those kind of characters and things into the movies as we go along. A lot of animation coming out. I think Family Guy came out that year. Sometimes it's hard to say whether or not, based on my research, if this is the time they were canceled and re-picked up or whatever it was, but Family Guy for sure. And then I'm going to play another clip from a show that is very important to me, very dear to my heart. I watch it on repeat. It's a great show. It's written very well. The stories are great. There's a lot of emotion in some of these shows, and I've been watching it for on and off for 20 some years now. So take a listen. Let me know if you know what this show is.
Space. It seems to go on and on forever. But then you get to the end and the gorilla starts throwing barrels at you. And that's how you play the game.
You stink, loser.
Hey, Fry, pizza going out. Come on!
Just over and over. Come on, Fry. That's Futurama. If you don't know that show, I mean, The Simpsons is great, and I love The Simpsons dearly. And we all agree that Simpsons season 1 through 10 are great. But it's like, what? And I haven't, watched a lot of the new stuff. Yeah. If you don't know, Futurama is, same kind of Matt Groening developers, same very smart writing. There's still jokes on that show that I don't get, very sciencey, smart people jokes. But it's very well written. It's been canceled and restarted over and over, so just keep it going. Shout out to Billy West. He's the voice of Fry, the voice of the Professor, the voice of Zoidberg, Zap Brannigan. So shout out to him. A lot of voice actors just don't get credit for all the work they do, as opposed to just a celebrity just talking normally. They stick those in all the animated movies now to sell them, but it's these real voice actors that can do these just emotional voices and things. I appreciate voice actors. So we're going to move on to some toys, and in this case, I set aside the old Toys R Us book, and we're going to take a look at the Sears Wish book from back then. Shouting out some toys. We got Game Boy Color. Right along with that was Pokemon cards, so we're big into that. And then the huge one, if you guys remember, were Furbys. Those creepy ass things. It was the year of the Furbys. Those things are still crazy expensive on eBay, 'cause my kid keeps bugging for them. Did you know that in that year, when they came out, that the NSA banned Furbys from entering any NSA property for fears of recording classified info. And apparently those things didn't record at all, but they were very small kind of steps towards AI, I guess, or you could teach them or they would kind of react to what you were doing in the room. But apparently got a lot of government people really freaked out. They were developed by Tiger Electronics. You know how I feel about those guys. They claim they are not spies and have no recording capabilities. So, freaking Furbys. While we're here and we're talking a virtual board game, essentially, let's just run down real quick because I wrote it down. The top 10 best-selling board games ever. Let's go from the bottom. Number 10, Rummikub, I think. Never played it. Number 9, Candyland, classic. Number 8, Backgammon. Sounds like an old person game. Number 7, Trivial Pursuit. Is anybody still playing that, like, as a board game? There's a lot of trivia, like cell phone games. But number 6, Battleship. Makes sense. Number 5, Clue. I love that one. Number 4, Scrabble. Sweet. And top 3, can you guess? Number 3 is Monopoly. And we got 1 and 2. Can you think of the 2 highest selling board games? They're real simple and real old, like playing way back hundreds of years. Number 2, checkers. Number 1, chess. So there you go. But I wanted to give a shout out to number 14 on this list. It's a game. It's fairly new. It's one me and my family play, and it's Catan. So I'm sure a lot of you know that game. So for that to, hit number 14, to still be kind of a, I know these weird or newer kind of board games have this kind of renaissance, only if you know how to play them. And sometimes the hour, or, it might take an hour to read the instructions on some of these. But Catan's definitely fun. I think that's the only kind of newer game we played. I know there's like Ticket to Ride and stuff I want to play, expansions for Catan, but also shout out, there's some sweet Mario board games. There's a Mario Kart board game. It doesn't really play like a Monopoly or anything. It has you drive by people, you pick up coins that they drop, you're throwing shells, you're doing a bunch of cool stuff. You got little Mario Kart figures. So we enjoy that as a family. Check that out. And the other sweet one is the Mario Life game. The game of life, but the Mario edition, because that one doesn't play like life either. That one literally plays like Mario Party. Like you have to get coins, you have to go buy stars. There's little mini games, where it's like rock, paper, scissors, like literal mini games you're playing with the people at the table. So it's really cool. Check that out. And other than that, let's talk a couple of video games real quick. Donkey Kong 64. Hell yes. Donkey Kong's living the dream right now. Bonanza is breaking records out there. Silent Hill, that's another. I want to do that game. We're going to do a scary game here pretty soon. I've got it on my list. A PlayStation game. We'll finally show the PlayStation some love. Wasn't my system of the day back then, but also, speaking of PlayStation, Dino Crisis. Can we remake that, please, or get a sequel? Like, how have we not had a sweet Resident Evil / Jurassic Park game, like a dinosaur horror survival? That just sounds sweet to me. And going to show some love to Roller Coaster Tycoon. I love some of those old PC games. It's very SimCity-like. It's not like it was back then when you could just play a game like SimCity or Roller Coaster Tycoon or even Ages of Empire, and those kind of games are great. It's when they go into like mobile form where every freaking thing is a mini transaction or everything is a you come back in a half hour to click on this and collect your crap or whatever. I'm so sick of mobile games. I hate them all. There's nothing I play on my mobile. I'm just sitting on my phone thinking of how I should be playing other video games. Speaking of video games, let's get into Mario Party. What's that box look like? A little bit of controversy here.
Now, I know you love video games, and I asked the clerk which is the one every boy wants. You got me! Oh, yeah!
Mario Party, Nintendo 64, designed by Shigeru Miyamoto, so you know this game is going to be sweet. The box art itself, I assume they never make games, knowing whether or not they're going to make sequels and stuff. But if you know anything about this box, if you've tried to buy it, if you've seen things on eBay or lots of games and stuff where they're mislabeled, it's essentially Mario punching up that dice block right on the front. And, it's got the Mario Party, but right towards like the bottom right of the Mario Party logo is the dice block with like a big number 3 on it. So a lot of times this game, at least the box art, is getting mistaken for Mario Party 3 to the point that even Nintendo themselves did it when they were announcing the release of, I think, Mario Party 2 and 3 on their online service. They used the Mario Party 1 box art for Mario Party 3. So keep an eye out for that. I think Mario Party 2, at least out of the 3 original, is probably my favorite. But I'm going to have to review all those as we go. Number 1, it's hard to say because there's things in number 1 that they took out of other games for a reason. You guys know what I'm talking about. Shooting into a little background here, I guess, before we dig into gameplay and stuff. Just in general of the kind of board games versus video game board games. There are ones that I feel like are great, like playing like Monopoly on Nintendo or something is great because it's doing the math for you. One of those more kind of simple games. But then I tried playing Catan online, and that's just like a mess because then you're trying to search through like cards and stuff and your resources on screen versus having all that stuff in front of you. So, it can definitely go one way or the other. Mario Party was obviously like the sweetest virtual board game. Like it was just like, you could do this. Like we didn't even know, it might as well be, popping out of the table at you with all the games and all the stuff they could pack into essentially a board game. And then as far as also video game wise, like card games, I feel like can be hit or miss as well. Like I just mentioned with Catan, like trying to manage cards was a pain. But there's other sweet games out there like Hearthstone, which is almost like a Magic. It's a Warcraft card game. But, based on having played games like Magic Tabletop back in the day, like how more convenient and even just cool with animations and, the things that you can do just quicker and better games where you're not having to pay so much attention. You're not turning cards over and turning cards sideways and all these kind of things you do on tabletop games. And also shout out to Slay the Spire, which is a sweet card game as well. And then what's the other? There's like a poker game, Valitro or something. That one's really cool as well. So there are some sweet card games as well. We were all playing solitaire back in the day on the computer, so let's keep that going. Jumping into the manual, it's sweet. It's full color. You're going to need a pretty sweet descriptive manual because, if you've never played Mario Party, there's a lot to it. After you kind of play one, then it's just kind of what did they do different for all of these. But, your basic board game instruction manual. Also, shout out a big exclamation point on the Rumble Pack supported. Heck yeah, stick your Rumble Pack in that thing. No Rumble specific games in this, but it's good to have the Rumble Pack. Also, another little weird thing I'd read as far as differences in culture again. Japan, they had to edit it in over in North America. But Japan had Wario and Luigi saying, "Oh my God," like when they would do their little like, "Oh no." In that case, they were saying like, "Oh my God." I was going to get the sound clips in here, but I didn't. You just got to put up with me doing it. So I thought that was weird. So they edited that out, almost like the Solongi Bowser controversy we've got as far as going back and George Lucasing our games and editing stuff when they re-release it. But it's a little weird cultural difference there. As far as controls and buttons, you're going to get your little mini game description pretty much every time before a mini game, because with so many mini games and every game being different, I can't just tell you what button does what. But you're going to use them all. You're going to use your A button, your joystick. You're going to use your joystick and your C buttons. So we'll get right into it because the joystick became an issue with the joystick rotating games. There's a few of them, and Nintendo was like, "Oh, they'll have fun rotating those joysticks with their thumbs," but that was not the case. You'd hold that thing hard in your left hand. You'd stick your right palm right on that. There's actually Wikipedia has a section labeled "quote hand injury complaints" unquote. No legal big stuff happened because of it, but obviously Nintendo, changed the games for the future and taken out those rotating joystick games. But there were no big injury issues I can think of. But we would literally have to stop playing for a few days and let our hands heal before we could go play again. The trick with that is with the joystick, you take that controller, you put it in your left hand, and you tuck that controller like right up in your gut, like right up there by the twig and berries, right up by the mommy and daddy button. If you're a lady, you tuck it right up there by your lady pocket. Left hand, you hold that thing right up in there, then your right hand, palm on that joystick, and you're not even looking at the screen. You're just ducked down, and that thing is rotating about 1,000 spins a minute. If you're doing it right, and then your hand would hurt. Like I said, we'd have to put Band-Aids on it and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, you wouldn't even look. And I would do the same thing when it came to like the tapping A games. I'm not sitting there with my thumb tapping A. It was the same kind of thing. It's like you hold that thing steady in your left hand, and then you like pinch your thumb and your index and your pointer finger together and make them like your fingernails like a little point. And then you hold it and you slide your fingers like back and forth really fast. So you're not even tapping. You're just coming on and off that button like with your nails like really fast. So that was my tapping A method. Music-wise, it's really good because they took some old Nintendo tunes and kind of redid them, remixed them a little bit. They redid like Underground and a couple other ones. It is not the tune I'm going to play for our break here. I'm just going to play us a sweet, definite Mario Party tune. But we're going to get into that. I'm going to play a little more music, and we'll start talking a lot of levels, a lot of mini games, and we'll jump right into it. Oh yeah, that's got to be. I'm betting money on it right now. I don't know for sure, but that is definitely one of the bumper ball soundtrack on that one. They use kind of multiple soundtracks for different levels and stuff, but I'm pretty sure that's a bumper ball soundtrack right there. So let's get into some straight game chat here. I'll try and kind of keep the thoughts together, but if you know me, I'm all over the place. So, let's talk characters. Mario Party 1, we got 6 playable characters. We've got Sonic the Hedgehog, Gambit from X-Men, the Noid from the Pizza Game, Darkwing Duck, you got Cloud from Final Fantasy, and we got Geno from Mario RPG. So you got those 6 guys. No, I wish. That'd be a sweet freaking game. No, you got your basic. We got Mario, Luigi, Peach, Yoshi, Wario, and DK. I don't think it's cool we got Wario up in there, starting to get some Wario love. No Waluigi yet. He'll be there. He'll be there eventually. You'll see some familiar faces as well as some non-playable characters as far as Toad, Boo, Bowser, freaking Baby Bowser, Goomba. I hate Baby Bowser so much and his stupid bib, and I wish they would just get back to the Koopa Kids. I don't know why. I don't like his sprite. I don't like his look. I don't like a little Baby Bowser. It's like, give me all those Koopa Kids and just spread them around. Make them the antagonists of some games. Why were there rabbits in Mario Odyssey when we could have had like the Koopa Kids? Anyway, I'll back on track. Story-wise, it's a board game, but the story is everyone's standing around arguing who's the best and who's the superstar, and they decide they'll jump down this pipe, and the superstar is going to be whoever helps people the most. So we're going to go blah blah blah. You get it. No big story here. Who can be the best superstar? Obviously, it's Wario. No, I'm joking. I actually played Mario. I think I was lucky. The guy I played with the most, my buddy Jamie, was always Luigi, so I was always Mario. I mean, it was different in Smash. Real quick, Smash. I used to be Link, and I was okay with Mario, but he would be Samus and Fox, and man, we would have some tough fights. Moving on, let's talk, gameplay-wise. All the games are going to be kind of played the same. You pick a guy, you pick your character, you're going to roll a dice. After every turn, there's going to be a mini game, and you're going to collect coins and try to buy stars, and the person with the most stars at the end is the winner. Now, there's a lot that happens in between there, but one of the things I love about this game is the randomness, the chaos of it. I love close matches, or I love upsets. I don't want just a straight, I don't care if I win or not. I want to have a good time. So it's like that even when I like play with my my family and stuff, my kids a lot too. Those little, if you're listening, Carter, you know it. You and Savvy, you both get grumpy if you're not winning. But who knows? A chance time right at the end, maybe some bonus stars. You never know. That's what makes this game fun. So the game itself, you know, because assuming you're one player, if you are playing a one-player game, you know, you start out, it's got your kind of overworld with some one-player stuff to do and some houses you can go in. You've got like the mini game house, and that'll be like your free play on your mini games. There's also kind of a mini board game itself in there with a mini game stadium. That's just a bunch of mini games back to back. There's a coin game, or at least that's just to get coins. Because then, if you have actual coins you get in the game, you then buy different, let's say like different maps. So you collect coins itself in the game to then go to the mushroom shop in the game. You can buy things like new blocks that'll randomly pop up during the board. So you get coins. You get coins at the end of just playing even like a multiplayer game. So you're always saving up coins to buy essentially DLC or additions for the game. So you got minigame house, and like I said, you got the mushroom shop. So you can buy one more map there. The game starts out with 6, I believe. And then, so there's one map you can buy. The other one we'll get to. You can also buy like game balls. It looks like kind of like a gumball machine. It's just ways to kind of, and then you can kind of buy new mini games, or at least unlock mini games. Like I said, you can get the kind of different blocks for the game. I'm trying to think of what else you could buy. It's other kind of like option things, like how to listen to like the music of the game or the sound. There's also some random kind of like coin boxes where you can receive 10% more coins than you had at the end of the game, or you get twice as many coins. So just more kind of one-player stuff there. You've also got the mushroom bank as far as like a house, and that'll have like options for items. It'll have your statistics. And again, you can, I think you can buy things there as well. So more one-player stuff, you know, the boring stuff. You got an option house, you have jukebox, talking parrot. Those are just kind of sounds from the game. You got minigame island, which is essentially the one-player game. But we're going to kind of blow through the one-player stuff because the multiplayer is where it's at. I mean, we played the one-player stuff just to try and get all of our boards and all of our fun like mystery blocks and stuff. But man, it really is all about party mode. So let's talk strictly party mode. Mario Party 1 has 50 minigames total. 10 of those are single player. In this game itself, there are no items. They will come later in Mario Party's Legacy, so no items there. And also, oddly, in this game is where they renamed the ground pound, the jump up, spin around, and flop your butt down on the ground. They renamed that from a ground pound, and they named it a hip drop. And I believe that's because they had a mini game called Ground Pound. So it's like, why not call the minigame hip drop? I don't know why you got to switch things up, but ground pound, hip drop, you guys know what I'm talking about. So every game's going to have, obviously, like spaces. You know, we can go over those real quick. They do kind of change game by game, but you're always going to have your blue space and your red space. Whereas you land on the blue space, you get 3 coins. Land on a red space, you lose 3 coins. You're also going to have the happening space. That's the question mark. And that's where different things will happen per the level you're in, because every level's kind of got a theme and different things to happen there, and that's what kind of keeps it exciting. Sometimes you get to the end of a board and you have to warp back to the front. Sometimes the boards are like island hopping. You're just all over the boards. Sometimes it's just one track. You're going in a loop over and over again. So they got all these different kind of spaces to change things up there. You've got my favorite space is Chance Time. That's a one-player game that can just change everything. It can take coins from people, give them to people. It can take a star and give it to, it's all like between players. So someone's going to lose something, someone's going to gain something, or you're going to swap. There's even like a complete swap stars. You can go from 0 to 8. If the other person had 8 and you had none, those kind of things. So chance time is just like what it sounds. It's a rarer space in the game, and it is just like a big what's going to happen for a minute. And there's also ways to time that, I think, on, or at least, it spins slow to start the 3 dice, so you can try to make someone lose a star. You've also got the mini game space, and that's just for a single player. It's where they go to play a single player mini game for coins. The mushroom space is kind of the closest you get to your items in this game. You land on the mushroom space, you instantly roll a dice. If it's a mushroom, you get coins. If it's a poison mushroom, you lose a turn. So that one actually sucks, because losing turns sucks. I don't know if they kept that going in the rest of the games. You still play a mini game, but it sucks just sitting there waiting a turn out. You've got your Bowser space. That's going to be no good, no fun. He's never doing nothing for you. Don't let his Bowser's 1,000-star present trick you. You got nothing good coming to you. And then you've got your star space, of course, where you get your coins. You go buy yourself a star. So let's talk a little bit about each level, because they did remake some of these on some of the newer Mario parties. So some of these are definitely VIP. So level-wise, each character gets their own kind of sweet themed level. So we'll kind of breeze through these. We got DK's Jungle Adventure. And that is like a jungle ruin. I'll just read the little description the manual's got here. Go exploring in jungle ruins. Womps and doors block the many junctions, and you may only pass if you have enough coins. I think also that has like the boulder in it, where if you land on a happening space, the boulder will chase you. Maybe I'm thinking of a different one, but again, it's one of those like pay a toll, but I think the womps rotate every turn as far as accessing areas or not being able to access areas, or you would have to pay them to move, and then it'll block the other area and you can get past. It's a good rectangle level. It's just a good square, kind of a good basic level to play. There's nothing really kind of that's gonna kind of rip you off in that one. Boo's kind of away over the, actually Boo you can kind of get to a lot. He's just to the right on that map. So you got that one. Next up, you got Peach's Birthday Cake. That one made it into the remake. It just looks really good too. And that's one that is just a loop. You just keep going on one single loop. A lot of the other maps, you get a star and it changes where the star is, the position. In this case, the star's set, and you're just looping over this cake to get back to it. Peach's Birthday Cake. Play on top of a giant birthday cake. Plant strawberry seeds to steal stars from the first rival to land on that space. And that is something that is right up my sleeve. I love stealing stars. I think you need to save up 30 coins to buy a piranha plant, a star-stealing piranha plant. This one also has the seed lottery, where you have to buy a seed, and whether or not you end up on Bowser's little mini cake over there. And you can end up on that thing just rotating around and hitting Bowser up over and over again. So that's no fun. Also, there's no Boo on Peach's Birthday Cake. They kind of make up with that, I think, for the star-stealing piranha plants. Also, next up, we got Yoshi's Tropical Island. If you remember that one, that was in one of the remakes as well. Take a trip to the southern islands where the Yoshis live. You may go from one island to the other, but the blue thwomps guarding the bridges continue to raise the price of passage. The more I read about these, I wonder if I was just a jerk playing Mario Party. Because that was one of the things I'd do. I'd drop 50 coins on a thwomp, and you'd have to pay 51 coins if you want to pass that next time. This one has stationary star spots, but it rotates between Bowser and Toad. Being on the left and right of the map, so you kind of try to time that out. But if you hit a happening spot or something, you might end up buying Bowser's stupid inner tube instead of a star. And again, the paying the tolls thing. Maybe I was a jerk. All right. Next, we got Wario's Battle Canyon. A battlefield sets the stage for this board. Players are automatically loaded into a cannon and shot to another island when they pass in front of a bomb buddy. But the only way to Bowser's Island is to ask the fly guy to take you there. So this is an island hopping level, and those are always kind of tough. I think there's like 5 or 6 little islands you're cannoning across, and a diagonal, sideways, all sorts of different directions. And again, you can't control it when you land on that canyon. or the cannon guy, he's going to shoot you out there. So it's got a real small circle kind of layout and kind of a random pattern. So that one can be tough for new people. I guess it depends on how you like to play this game. Like I said, when I get to the comments, it seems like a lot of people didn't like to play this game like I did. So moving on, we got Luigi's Engine Room. I love the aesthetic of this one. This board is set in the mysterious engine room. Steel doors block many of the junctions, and players may only take the paths that are open. The doors move at the end of each round, changing the paths that can be taken. And there's a lot of those doors that move up and down. As far as some will be like, you'll be on one. If you roll a 10, chances are you can end up going through like 3 doors, depending on if they're open or closed for you. So that can be hard to judge. Certain paths you're going for, and Boo's super accessible in this one, which I don't mind. Other people do, apparently. Next, we got Mario's Rainbow Castle. Take a magical trip to a castle in the clouds. This board consists of a single path that the players must follow to reach the castle. However, when someone reaches the castle, Toad and Bowser switch places. So another kind of stationary, kind of like Peach's birthday cake. You make it to the top. Whether or not it's Toad or Bowser there, depends on what's been happening in the game, but after you get that spot, you fly back down to the center or the start of that board and then work your way back up the castle. Can't think of anything that's fairly linear. You just head to the top and back to the start. We'll just bring up the other boards for, I think it's almost 1,000 coins. It's like 960 or 980. You can buy Bowser's Magma Mountain. And I love every Mario Party game, I believe, has a Bowser level, and I love all those. They're tough and they screw you over, and it's like I like an uphill battle. I like a little struggle in my Mario Party. Bowser in that one, it's like you can he can turn all the spaces red at some point, so you're just losing coins nonstop. And then if you want to take shortcuts, you have to like make bets with Goombas, I think, and then you get an 8 to 10 dice block and they get a normal one, but you have to then beat the number they roll to, I think, to make it through the shortcut. I may be remembering that wrong, but again, just ways for them to switch things up. It could be a wall one level where you're playing walls that go up and down every other turn, or ones where you have to pay, or ones you have to make a bet. So it's cool they keep it going. And then the toughest board to get, you need 100 stars. It wasn't tough for us because we played the crap out of this game. So whenever you get 100 stars, even through multiplayer and stuff, you'll get the Eternal Star. And that board's tough too. Another island hopper, except this time you're on teleports that teleports you randomly. There's 7 Bowser Juniors in the level. And you have to go and you have to bet him for a star until they all go away, and it's maybe the last one has the actual star. That one I haven't played in a long time because I don't think I liked it that much. I like a good kind of normal looking board, a good DK's Jungle. I like Peach's Birthday Cake, Yoshi's Tropical Island. I guess there's not, I'd have to look through the other Mario parties to find a board like I don't like. I know they're out there. I know the newer games I didn't like as much. I love the first 3 Mario parties. What was it? Super Mario Party? I did not like. Mario Party Superstars, I did, I believe. They started adding the partner thing. It almost looked like it got too easy on Super Mario Party. I guess we can get into that another day. I want to shout out all the background artwork for the mini games themselves. That they made all these kind of mini games, and just depending, maybe you're just whacking blocks in one mini game, but they had to make like a whole cool background for everything. They made all these levels, and they could have made it basic, but they put a lot of details into the backgrounds of a lot of these mini games, and I appreciate that because it's not like you're like playing in any of these worlds, but that you can see things back there. Things exist in a 3D world, so they really took advantage of that N64 power and making all these mini games and cramming them into one game and starting a successful legacy of however many Mario games we have now, 10 plus or something. They're just now Jamboree was okay too. I like Jamboree. I have not played the updated Switch 2 stuff, but I'm not a fan of motion games or cameras or like any of the gimmick stuff. Side note, that's probably where I fell off a lot of gaming with like the Wii. I'm not big on motion games. VR is okay, but anyway. we're going to do a little mini game ourselves here, and I'll rattle off these mini games and see what I can remember and see what you can remember. Let's do it. So you got, your 4-player mini games. You got 1 versus 3. You got 2v2, and you got your 1-player. So let's talk 4-player mini games. I'll go through them quick because I bet you I remember all of these. I did play some recently, but you're not going to play every mini game. You got to kind of unlock them as you play. So you got Facelift. Yep, and that one is the old beginning of Mario 64 where you have the hand and you can move their faces. You got to kind of match the face it gives you. Crazy Cutter is when you're on the, what is that, jackhammer, and you're outlining whatever kind of picture they put, and then the creature will bust through at the end. Hot Bomb is just like Hot Potato. You're tossing a bomb to each other, and when it blows up on someone, they lose. Musical Mushroom is just like Musical Chairs. You're walking around a bunch of mushrooms, and when it stops, you run and get only the one person can get the chest. So when you're playing that one, as the music's going, rotate your joystick in the direction that's going to run you to the center. So as soon as the music stops, you're on your way to that chest. Coin Block Blitz, I think, is you're all just beating coin blocks. There's 9 of them, and you all just beat them to get coins. And jump up and beat them. Balloon Burst is sweet. That's like that old bonus game from the Simpsons arcade where you're pumping on a big balloon, and the first one to pop it wins. Skateboard Scamper, that one was one of the tougher ones because there's kind of a lot to it. I think you're tapping A to go, and at the same time you have to hit B to jump over a bunch of stuff while the camera's kind of rotating in a weird place. Box Mountain Mayhem, that's just kind of lame. You're just punching boxes in the corner, getting coins. Platform Peril, that one's another kind of tough one. It's platforming, but you're at a 45-degree angle. So as you're jumping up, it can be a little tough. And the 4 people and obstacles and bumping into each other. So that one's tough. Mushroom Mix-Up. Let me see. Is that the one? I think so. You're on a hexagon, a bunch of hexagon mushrooms, and he holds up a color. And then all the other mushrooms sink. You have to be standing on that mushroom color, and he'll do that a bunch of times. Treasure Divers, just like it sounds. You dive in the water and get treasure, get coin boxes and stuff. Grab Bag is where you all have bags on the back of you, and you have to run up and you have to punch and shake the person from behind while trying to not have anybody get you from behind. Bumper Balls is super basic, and I like how they tried to, they integrate the joystick and the 3D with all this, and so it's just you're on a ball and rolling into other people trying to knock them off. Tipsy Tourney, is that the one where they're shooting? No, that's Bombs Away. That's the next one. What is Tipsy Tourney? Oh, that's the one I think where there's a shell in the middle of a square, and you run, and it'll kind of gravity will lean down, and you have to uncover the picture by moving the shell around. Bombs Away is the one where you're on an island and there's a pirate ship in the background just shooting bombs at you. Sometimes I would just not move. I would just stand in the middle and see if fate had it in for me, because you'll kind of slide around as the island moves up and down and stuff, or whether or not a bomb would get you. Mario Bandstand, that one just kind of sucked. You each had an instrument or something. You had to hit a button or whatever. Castaways was a tough one. That's another weird, they're trying out the joystick stuff. But depending on how, it's a fishing one. So depending on how hard you held down the joystick or how far it was in thirds, you had 1/3, 2/3, and all the way, would kind of be how far you casted. And then on top of that, you have to try to line it up with a treasure chest or coin floating around in the water. Hammer Drop was just, you're on a tower thing with a hammer drop guy throwing hammers, and avoid the hammers and get the coins. Shy Guy Says is a classic. That one's come back. He's got his 2 little flags, his A and B flag, red and white. You have to hold up the right one, but sometimes they'll hold up a white flag and pull it down real quick, put up the red one, or we'll hold up 2 and then drop one. So that one's fun because it's kind of tough. Keep Away is pretty basic. A big key drops. There's enemies. You got to beat each other up, beat up the enemies, get the key, unlock the door. Buried Treasure was all right. You're just tapping A and digging across the screen. You don't know where the chest is. You'll either uncover some arrows that will point to the chest, and then first person to the chest gets it. Running of the Bulb is like a 4-player co-op game. Someone has a light bulb, and you're running away from ghosts, trying to get to the end. Hot rope jump. That one's sweet, and that one's lasted through because I think you can only get up to 20 jumps in the first game. But man, it must have been Mario Party 2 or 3, wherever they kept hot rope jump going, that me and my buddy, I swear we'd get up in the 90s. You just tap, 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 tap. Just it's a jump rope. That's all. A hopscotch, the double dutch type of stuff. That's it. And the last 4-player game is Slot Car Derby, and that one's tough too, because depending on how hard you're holding your joystick down, it kind of works like real slot cars did. So I see where they came up with that. There is an old thing. We'll have to have them sponsor a show one day. If you ever played old slot cars, you go around the corner and just whip that thing right off. You can see sparks running across the board as you're playing. Real quick, let's blow through the rest of these games. Your 1v3s, you got Pipe Maze. Someone's in control of the treasure chest. You got to follow the pipe maze up as the camera zooms up to try and see where your guy is. Try to get the treasure in there. I'm gonna skip some of these and go over some of the MVPs anyway. Tug of War, that is the one. That's one of the games. Is Tug of War, is these joystick spinning game. You got one person on one side, 3 on the other. Oh boy. Another joystick game, Paddle Battle, maybe the most famous, because I don't even know if that's beatable in like the 1-player game where you're up against 3 people in like a rowboat paddle type situation. Piranha's Pursuit, that was a tough one. Someone's on a skateboard while the other 3 are up on a cloud, ground pounding or hip dropping onto the cloud to make it rain, onto the flower to make the flower bigger to chase you faster. And you'd have to jump over stuff and all that. Shout out here to Crane Game. You just go, someone's on the crane, they go to pick somebody up. It's actually pretty boring, but I love crane games. So shout out to Crane Games. 2v2 games, those were all kind of tough. Depending on if your partner knew what they were doing. You had Handcar Havoc, that's a tapping while also not going too fast around corners that you fly off of your tracks. And then the other kind of big one I think might have made it back in other ones is Bobsled Run. And that was kind of a long one too, but I always ended up off the edge on that, trying to go too fast, I think. It's a long track down to the bottom. But it's got that tap A at the beginning where you're running to get into your bobsled. So remember that when you're starting. Better tap A, get in that bobsled before you even start moving down. And the 1-player games are all kind of whack. Besides, they have Chance Game listed under 1-player games. I don't even know if it was called Chance Time at that point. Oh, and there it is. The 1-player game has the ground pound. That's just like a memory match game. Ghost Guess was pretty cool. You're like surrounded by ghosts, and you have to bump into the one that is moving first. And the trick there was to watch the shadows on the wall. And then another 1-player game is Pedal Power. Another joystick turning game. That's the one where you're on the bike charging up the light bulb before the boo gets to you. So that, all of those. My hands hurting even just kind of thinking about it. After the last turn is played, there's some bonus stars, and that's kind of, they vary. I'm not sure which ones had it in this game, but it's like whoever collected the most coins, whoever traveled the most spaces, whoever landed on Bowser the most. There's tons of options. You never know what they are. There's an option when you make these games, when you start, you pick your number of turns. You can turn bonus stars on or off. Man, I'd have 10 bonus stars if I could, just to make everyone mad at the end of the game and just throw random stars out to people. So we always had bonus stars on. We never really played with a handicap. If I'm playing like with the family, we actually used to start. We'd start the games with everybody having like 2 stars. So it's still even. But then there's opportunities to steal stars. Like as soon as you get your 50 coins to go steal stars from Boo. So maybe I was the jerk. But we'll get into it. Once we start going into some awards here in a little bit. So I know I kind of blew through this game. There's not much, you've got to play it with people, but it's your basic kind of game setup every time. And I mean, like every Mario Party you play, there's going to be the same kind of setup. You're going to, pick your guys, you're going to pick your number of turns and pick your level, and from there head into it. And the memories are great. And just the fact that it's carried through, that I played this so long as a teenager, into my 20s, a bit of a break there, but then to play it again just like with my family. Yeah, it's really neat. We've had some really sweet Mario parties. So Carter, if you're listening now, let's go play some new Mario Party. All right. We're going to get into some sweet awards. We're going to get into some sweet comments. So let's jump into it.
Aren't you a little old for video games?
That man is playing Galaga. Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.
What do all the things that you want to do?
Throw me a frickin' bone here. I'm the boss. Need the info.
I've lived in mortal terror that this would happen.
Get on with the ceremony.
All right, we have got some comments and reviews, and people didn't like this game, or maybe they're playing it now, and again, these maybe you had to grow up with it to love it. Well, let's get into some comments real quick. Steven Johnson says, this game is only good for so long, primarily because of luck dependency and unfairness. There's a bunch of unfairness that plays into this game. First of all, chance time, which can literally reverse your luck and put you in first place to last place. I personally think every Mario Party in the series should have gone without this edition. There's also a lot of mini-games that just depend on luck. There's not much strategy whatsoever to them. In summary, if you like games that will kick you in the face 100 times, this game is for you. Otherwise, try something else. So that's his review comment. I'm not sure if a lot of people played this one player. I'm telling you right now, one player sucks. Like, this isn't a one-player game. Which kind of, makes me sad. But, you have to make multiplayer games. I'm sure they made this as a multiplayer game and had to add these things, for one player. But I imagine even playing one player, even if you turn the computer down to idiots, like, they can still be tough. And I could just not see myself having fun playing this game alone at all. So I actually feel bad for everybody in the reviews who had to, had to play it alone. Next review from Lewis. He says, absolute joke. Bought my son 2 Pro controllers so we could all just play to find out you can only use Joy-Cons. What a joke. Nintendo, you're making games for kids. Make it easy to play and so you can jump right in. You find out it's Joy-Con only by some tiny small print, and as soon as you open the game, ruined all of our day. Thanks, Nintendo. Okay, Lewis, this review is for Super Mario Party. Which I've already dealt with reviews getting mixed into different games and stuff. But I threw this comment in here because I had the same freaking issue when I saw Super Mario Party coming out. I went and bought, they were the cheap ones, the corded ones. I went and bought a bunch of, $20 controllers, or enough to where I'm like, all right, we got 4 controllers. Mario Party's on the way. And no, it literally showed up. And yeah, you had to play it with Joy-Cons. And it's fine playing with the 2 of them, but I hate playing with that little freaking thing. I feel like I'm going to break it. I feel like it's Will Smith in the Noisy Cricket. Like, I'm going to break this damn thing. And beside motion games and all that stuff. So if I'm agreeing with your Super Mario Party review, I didn't like it either. But Mario Party 1's awesome. Moving on to Marla. Sorry, I picked a lot of interesting comments. Marla says, I despise this game. There's hardly any skill involved. It's mostly luck, and if you're playing the computer, forget it. You'd think they have the sense to make it possible to win. Plus, the Mario franchise is incredibly sexist. The only females to choose from are meek-looking, stereotypical girls in dresses. This game sucks. So that's a weird soapbox to stand on. It's a weird hill to die on the Mario. She says the Mario franchise in general is incredibly sexist. And I'm sorry, but who was everybody playing in Super Mario 2? Because I'm pretty sure everyone was playing Princess Peach and her sweet floating ability. Who did Metroid turn out to be at the end? That's not a Mario franchise. But of all the places to call video gaming sexist, I don't think Nintendo and I don't think Mario fits into that category. They put Peach and other stuff, but what do you want? Peach in a bikini? Is that, but you want her to be like Stellar Blade or Peach style or something? But since then we've got, Peach games, we've got, and they've got Rosalina, they got Daisy, they got all these other characters in games now. So again, it's a weird call out on Mario Party 1 for being sexist because they put a playable, you got, what else you got? You got a monkey, you got a dinosaur. We're getting there, but I do understand. You know, that it can be hard being a girl in gaming with a lot of these weird frickin' guys out there. But let's move on. EW says last minute bonuses is cheating. I was in first place in the game and got dropped to fourth place after the bonus. It feels terrible, and I wouldn't play this game with my friends or family because it's very disappointing. If you're playing with computers, Mario is literally the biggest cheater in the game with the best luck. The whole experience was very awful. I'm sorry, but I love freaking bonus stars. Like I said, I don't care. That's like, I love upsets. I don't care if I'm rooting for a team, and I don't care about sports anyway. But if it's just a good game, someone scores something right at the end and everyone's screaming, like, you're going to remember that. You're not going to remember, and the same thing with like maybe like a crazy boss battle. Like, I don't remember how many times we beat this boss in Warcraft or something, but I remember this particular fight where things went nuts, and I think we might have lost, but it's like, those are the memories. Those are like the Leroy Jenkins memories. So Loud Meow says, Mario Party is unfair. One day we were playing and my son got a star, then suddenly he fell into a Bowser space and he rolled a wheel for his punishment, and he rolled give 1 star to Bowser. It felt really unfair and ruined our game that day. Don't recommend this for a good family time. So, like, let your kid learn how to deal with crap. That's what Bowser spaces are for. You're just going to turn the game off because he lost his star, because he landed on the IRS space and had to pay his funds. Like, welcome to adulthood. Let your kid feel the pain a little bit. Make him a man. Make him a Mario man. So, I mean, again, I don't like to see kids sad, but don't give your kid Mario Party 1 to play single player, or at least play with them. And then you can yell at him when he loses his star and talk about how you're winning and you're better. So last comment, Kevin Jenkins, it's a short one. He says, miserable. My wife has such a bad time with this game, and I just want her to be happy. That is the comment. So I'm sorry, Kevin. We all want our wives to be happy. Try playing Split Fiction with your wife. Me and my wife really liked it. So we're done with comments. We're going to get into awards. My first award is the Level 1-1 award, and that's going to go to the best level design. And sometimes on these awards, if I say something like my favorite level, then I'm talking subjective about me. If I say something like best level design, I'm going to talk objectively about what I think is the best level for everybody, or maybe the best intro level to play. But in this case, best level design is going to DK's Jungle Adventure. It's just nice. It's a nice rectangle. Oh, hold on. DK's Jungle Adventure. There you go. So it's good. Like I said, it's a basic. It's a good intro level. Things are spread out. You can kind of tell where you're going because it's kind of a square. Here's a path there. You're not doing like the island jumping or anything. So I'm giving the best level design to DK's Jungle Adventure. I don't know what my personal favorite level would be because I like things to get a little nuts. So it's probably like Bowser's Magma Mountain. And then it's hard to say at any given time what my favorite anything is, because it's more like what I would play at this given moment, and that can change by the day. So my next award is the Bomb Chew Bowling Award, and that's going to be for my favorite minigame. And that was a tough one. But I've always had a favorite minigame, and it always seems to get remade and put into all the existing Mario parties, and I don't know why it's my favorite. It's simple, it's stupid, but it is Bumper Balls. There's something about that game. It's like it's genius in its simplicity, because like with the joystick, there's just a way, if you know that game at all, like the way you can fake people out, the way you can ride around that edge and just cock in right and go right into the island, and it's best when someone just thinks they're getting you and you just pull a move and they just fly off the edge. Otherwise, you guys are just slamming into each other in the center, and that's just hilarious too, because then everyone's just yelling at each other. So I do love Bumper Balls. And award number 3, the last one, is the coveted Baby Penguin Award. And that is the funnest thing to do in this game that I shouldn't enjoy. And in this case, I had a couple. I'm still undecided. We're going to make a decision right now. Number one thing I like to do is not even buy stars at all, is just constantly save up money and go to Boo and just steal stars from people. Even if you don't want to be mean about it, hit random on your old star steal. Then you can be like, hey, I'm off the hook. But I mean, it's also how you get ahead. You know, you can buy stars all day long and add to your star count, but the thing about stealing stars is you're getting a star and you're taking one away from somebody. So that's, again, I think I'm a jerk. So that was one of, and then my other favorite one, and you couldn't do it much in this game because they didn't have items, but I'm purposely landing on chance time any chance I get, because I think it's fun to just throw things into the mix crazy like that. I love it when it's a star swap, when someone's got like 4 and someone's got 0 and it just swaps them. So I love that. But because there's no items and I can't really control landing on chance time in this game, I'm going to give it to not buying stars and just making your way to Boo. If you're on Peach's birthday cake, you're just saving up. You're just going to have like 6 piranha plants out there just sitting back and rubbing your hands together and waiting. So let's rate this thing. Same 4 ratings. And right off the bat, gameplay, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. And it's hard. My votes are almost split between when you're looking at this as a 1-player game or a 4-player game. I'm going to kind of mush them together. And I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. These are more objective when I try to do these rankings, because maybe the joystick nonsense is fun for me, but the fact we'd have to stop playing for a few days and let our hands heal is going to give you that 6 out of 10 on the joystick, and also the CPU toughness on the 1-player games can be a bit off. And yeah, I guess things aren't, when it comes to luck and things like that, it can feel unfair if you're playing against a computer versus 3 other people. If it's just 4 you guys and you get the random games, those were fun to me because it's just like, let's see what happens. So moving on to visuals, you're going to get a 7 out of 10. I mean, you're sweet. But you're still Nintendo 64. You're still blocky. There's nothing super impressive visually in this game besides, the fact it has all the mini games. It has, the levels, they're static. The levels look sweet, but it's just background. And the mini game backgrounds look sweet, but they're not, there's no gameplay involved in any of that. So you're going to get a 7 out of 10 because you're still the 64 and you're still awesome. Music and sound, we're going to give that guy an 8 out of 10 because it's got all those sweet updated tunes. And, you heard some of the music itself. It's very, like, uplifting. We're not so much like on a Bowser level, but then depending on the levels, too, it's got sweet theme music. You got, like, sweet factory music, when you're playing Luigi's level and things like that. So the music's definitely getting an 8 out of 10. And I guess my toughest ranking is going to be awesomeness. I'm sorry. I've got to look at this objectively. For your awesomeness factor, you're going to get a 5 out of 10. And I'm literally cutting it right in half based on the fact it's only a good game if you're if you're multiplayer. Even 2 players is fine. But man, this game is just lame on 1 player. So as awesome as you are, I'm in charge of this, so I'm going to do what I want as far as my final ranking. So as awesome as you are, you're getting a 5 out of 10. And, because it mainly, when it comes to 1-player video games, and I feel for the mom talking about her kid earlier, 1-player games, especially when it's like a game you're playing that's made to play with friends and you're just the 1 player and you're looking at this video game to be your friend. If you're like me when I was a kid and like didn't have a lot of friends, besides, teenage years, even then. But before that, growing up younger, it was like the NES and stuff. The Nintendo was, my friend and a lot of friends for a lot of people. And these games you grew up with, Mario is your friend and Zelda and Mega Man and all these people. So when you get a game and it's almost like rubbing it in your face that you may not have anyone to play with or something. And maybe, things are a bit easier now that you can do online stuff. You can just find people online to play. But back then, this game would have been pretty lame to just play by yourself. So I'm giving you a 5 out of 10, and that puts you at a 6.5 total out of 10. And according to my new random ranking stuff I made up again, the 6.5 puts you in the rent it category. You got to get an 8.5 or up to get a That Game Rules. 5 to 8 is going to be a just rent it. 3 to 5 is going to be a leave it in the past. And maybe a 1 to 3 will be a burn it to the ground. But even though you got a 6.5 out of 10, you still freaking rule, Mario Party. I mean, that game rules like I have years and years of it under my belt. You know, it only gets better. Just wait till we do Mario Party 2 and they all get cute little outfits and stuff depending on the boards they're playing. And beyond that, obviously, we had three out on the Switch between Super and Superstars and Jamboree. So keep them going. For sure. It for sure rules. All right, that's it. We're gonna wrap it up here. Do you guys want to know what we're doing next week? We're going back to the Sega. I don't know why I've got so much Sega love lately. And again, all these other sweet games are coming. We're talking Link to the Past, Super Mario 3, Super Mario World, all these other games I played and loved, just like you guys. What do we got on the 64? We got Banjo, we got Conker, we got Smash Brothers. We got wrestling games, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark. What else do we got? Super Nintendo, all the Donkey Kong countries, Mega Man X, Super Contra, Super Metroid. There's all these banger games. I don't want you guys thinking I've never played these. I'm just saving them up. Maybe if one of you guys have any of those you want me to do, I'll bump whatever upcoming episodes I have going, and I'll jump on whatever games you guys shoot at me. So again, if you want to hit me up, thatgamerules@gmail.com or thatgamerules.com. And again, like Facebook, all that other internet stuff, you guys are on there. You know how it's done. I'm excited for next week. Did I even say the game? Oh, we're going to Sega. We're talking Toe Jam and Earl. Did you guys ever play that? Old school roguelike, funky, totally 90s crap. We're talking, yeah. We'll get into it. If you guys haven't played that game, I think it's on Nintendo Online. Go take a look. It is, it's like an over-the-top roguelite, random, crazy items, crazy enemies, fun sounds. I'm excited to look into that one. So again, we're going to get out of here. Thank you guys. Go play some Mario Party. Go enjoy the rest of your summer. Oh, hey, real quick. A little something for you guys. I found a new button. You want to know what it is?
Hey, listen!
I got that. I got that button. Watch what happens if I just loop it.
Listen! Hey, listen!
Does this give anybody else does anybody else wake up in the middle of the night to this sound in their head just going off?
Listen!
Who's worse? Is it Navi or the freaking owl? You guys talking about good games. When are we going to do Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask? Oh. Anyway, there's hundreds and thousands of games left to do, and I got the ambition. We're gonna keep it going. But thanks again. I'll wrap it up. I'll see you guys next week. Peace out.